Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason for the first time today.
Hey, Dave Franklin from Cleveland. I got a few things for you. If they wanted to tailor-made that offense around Deshaun Watson, why didn't they go Bill O'Brien? That's where he had his most success under that guy. And I think Stefanski just wants yes men. He's going to continue to call the plays, which I got no problem with. But, I mean, Glenn Dorsey and these guys are in the league because they got a talent at stuff. Calling plays, offensive coordinators, so on and so on. And then the next thing is, what about Diabate? How long is he out for? What do you think about Ryan Tannehill if something does happen? Do you think he'd be a better starter than Jameis Winston? That's all I got to say. All right. Love you, brother.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. G. Bush, I don't think it's yes men. I think Bill O'Brien's head coach at Boston College, so I don't know that would work. They are trying to tailor an offense around Watson. It didn't look good. I think Jameis Winston is probably, I think he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to live probably with some turnovers, but you're gonna get some big plays. He has a huge arm.
He was the number one overall pick for a reason. Ryan Tannehill and these guys, somebody thought highly enough of Jameis Winston that he was the number one overall pick, and it was a consensus coming out. It wasn't when he was in college. People talked about it. It was one of those sweepstakes deals, right? He just had a situation in Tampa where, he has the penchant to turn the football over. In certain places, but heck, Joe Flacco do too. But heck, Baker Mayfield did too. There's a lot of things that you got to deal with, like when you got a guy that can make certain throws. So to me, Jameis Winston is definitely, to me, he's the best backup in the game, bar none. I know people may not see it because they're not familiar with it, but when it comes to throwing the football and being a leader and how he motivates men around him, that's second to none. He's had success. I mean, the dude threw from, I think he has 5,000 yards one year. I mean, think about that. Like that's a substantial amount of yards. So one thing that I will say too is I think the caller does have a point. If you are Kevin Stefanski and you want to continue to call plays, because that's what your forte is and you like doing it, it's kind of hard delivering somebody else's vision, right? When I was doing shows in radio, the first thing people used to say is, most of these shows is two-man shows, and they go back and forth and different things like that. But sometimes it's hard to do two-man shows when you are unorthodox and you have a certain vision for the way you want to do the show. Nobody can sell your vision like you can. And nobody can understand what's going on in your head sometimes if you're doing a collaborative effort. There's something to be said for Ken Dorsey and his philosophy and the way he wants to go about the offense. And there's something to be said about understanding that and then translating that into the script, into the rhythm of the game. Sometimes I believe that if you got more than one cook in the kitchen, it is bound to mess up a recipe somewhere. And right now, the Browns are a chili or a gumbo or a really good soup, and 2 or 3, just something is missing in there. The ingredient ain't just right. And I'm not sure whether it's the newness, the receivers, the head coach, the calling the plays. But I will say, at some point in time, if that's not working, all things should be on the table to revisit that.
Oh, all things should be on the table pretty quickly. If I mean, you can't let this season slip away. So at some point in time, everything, and I mean everything, goes onto the table.